What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV. Today we're going to talk about things to know when visiting Turkey. Let's do it. All right, let's talk about where to go, places to see and do. Obviously, you know about Cappadocia. That's the place where you go to see all of those hot air balloons flying over Turkey. And then you have the Turkish Riviera, which is where I'm at now. You have all the way from Bodrum all the way to Alanya. Now, in between, you have towns like Kaş or Old Deniz, which is actually exactly where I'm at. I would say the Turkish Riviera rivals that of the Greek islands. Very close to Rhodes too. You can even get out there to Rhodes if you wanted to go there. Then there's other places like the Pamukkale geothermal hot springs, and many different ancient civilizations for you to explore, like Ephesus and the whole Mediterranean coast, very full of Greco-Roman old civilizations. I mean, they basically start from the old city of Troy and then work their way down all the way towards past Alanya, actually, and everything in between. Seems like every town has remnants or ruins of an old civilization from the Greco-Roman, Byzantine, Lycinian history. All right, guys, when you come to Turkey, you're going to experience a lot of different foods. That's what we're here to show you, so let's get into it. There are many different types of kebab that you'll want to try. Me, personally, I like to go with the lamb. But you can ask for a variety of different kebab, but mostly doner kebab is something that you will want to research and try when in Turkey. And the mixed meat is going to include chicken, lamb, beef, no pork. Pork is very limited here in Turkey. In fact, you'll find plenty of sausage like chicken sausage or lamb sausage. And the seafood options are going to include the locally caught fish, some shrimp, calamari, octopus, some caviar, anchovies, and some other shellfish. But don't forget about the street food. And surprisingly enough for me, I found a lot of corn as street food, along with some nuts. Turkey has a whole mixed bag of salads. They like to include a lot of olives, tomatoes, greens, and cheese with their salads. But then you can't forget about dessert, baklava, delicious crepes, and a whole variety of different pancakes and waffles. And you have Turkish coffee and Turkish tea, which is commonly served with Turkish delight. But last but not least, you can't forget about the Turkish ice cream guys that like to tease you while they serve you the ice cream. All right, let's talk about transportation in Turkey. So how are you going to get around from city to city? Well, the preferred method is airplane. Airplanes are affordable. I've seen flights anywhere between $50 to $60 for one-way tickets going from Istanbul to Cappadocia region or to the Turkish Riviera. Check Pegasus Airlines. There's also Turkish Airlines. That's just getting out of Istanbul. But then there's some ways to get around from city to city, such as rental cars or taxis. Personally, I've used VIP services for $60 to go in a Mercedes van, just about 2 hours for 60 US or 60 euros, since it's exactly the same value nowadays. But there's also some water taxis that will get you around from beach to beach. For example, you can go from Fethiye to Old Deniz by water taxi. You can also take a ferry to some of the Greek islands like Rhodes from here. There's buses in between. But mostly, I would say, because the airfare is so cheap and Turkey is a big country, for the long distance travel, you're going to go airplanes. And then for the short distance stuff, you just go on taxis or VIP services, and it's not going to break the bank. And one more thing about transportation, there is a high-speed train that goes from Istanbul to Ankara, and I believe it goes all the way to Konya. The thing is, that train books up very quickly, so do try to order that in advance. But the high-speed train can get you to Ankara from Istanbul in a couple hours. All right, so let's talk about some of the activities that you have in Turkey. Obviously, you have Turkish baths. Then you have things to see in Istanbul like Sofia Hagia. There's the Blue Mosque. Then you have riding a hot air balloon in Cappadocia. But you also have, here in Old Deniz, You have paragliding, parasailing, riding jet skis, riding quads, doing safaris. So much to look forward to. They have day tours that'll take you to Pumakeli and Ephesus. You can do both of those on like a 2-day trip, 1 day overnight. So you have many different alternatives of activities that you can explore while here. I just gave you a couple right there, but there's many more than that. Each town is going to have its own alternative things. All right, guys, let's talk about safety when you come to Turkey. What do you need to know? Is there anything to be concerned about? So I've been in Turkey for about 8 days now. Istanbul, we've been to several of the towns, 4 towns on the Turkish Riviera. I would say overall, I can honestly say Turkey is a safe country. It's something that you would take general precautions for, but you don't need to go out of your way to be concerned. There's a lot of things that I read on the internet that made me concerned. Then when I got here, I realized you can walk around late at night, you can walk around in the daytime, in the mornings. Very safe place. I mean, there was several different Airbnb and accommodations where they told us, don't even worry about locking your door, it's totally safe. That doesn't mean that there isn't crime here or things that you should be concerned about, because those things do happen in isolated incidents. But overall, I would say if you're planning a trip here and you have any hesitation about what you're reading online and safety, I would say, from my experience, unless a national event happens or something just out of the blue happens, it is a safe place to visit and travel. Okay, let's talk about the currency and the things you need to know about transactions here in Turkey. They prefer to transact in cash. Now, the problem with that is I've had more problems with ATM machines in Turkey than I have anywhere else in Europe, which I guess comes with the territory. But because they want to transact more in cash, for example, taxi drivers or some of the stores, they're always saying, can you please give it to us in cash? Even the tourist and activity people, they want their money in cash. But then you explain to them, well, I've had issues with the ATM machines. For example, today I went to 2 different ATM machines, both of which had temporary errors on their withdrawals. So I had to walk down the road and do that again to find another one. So it took about 20 minutes to find an ATM machine that worked. The very first day I got here, I went to 4 different ATMs. So I came over here to pull money out, and they processed 2 transactions. They said something went wrong, but I checked my ATM bank card on my mobile app for banking, and it said they processed 2 transactions for $238. Both attempts, they didn't give me any cash, but they actually debited the money from my bank. That's kind of interesting. The bank on my online banking told me that I had made those transactions, and they said they were processing, but they didn't give me the money, so I had to contact my bank and let them know this. So this has been a thing. The ATM machines, the transactions, you can do it, it works. Oh, by the way, they don't really accept American Express. Maybe 20% of the vendors accept American Express here, which is common, I guess, for most countries outside the United States. Now, when it comes to shopping, there's something you're going to need to know. Number one is, I'm going to say straight up, Turkey has great quality clothes. They have great quality rugs. Turkish rugs are some of the finest in the world. But what happens is when you get invited into some of these stores, not all stores, it becomes a high pressure sales environment. And you can't really walk away without saying no easily. So yeah, you can say no and walk away, of course, but it might be a challenge. But I will say the things that I did buy in Turkey I found to be of good quality, and I do enjoy shopping in Turkey and would recommend that you guys do consider doing some shopping while you're here. I personally bought plenty of clothes and really enjoyed shopping at the Grand Bazaar area. That is like an incredible place to do shopping, and I'm not a big shopper, but you can get anything from silver to rugs to spices, you name it. I would highly recommend checking out the Grand Bazaar and even the Egyptian Bazaar. And if you search this channel, you'll see our video from Istanbul with the Grand Bazaar and the Egyptian Bazaar if you wanted to see that more in detail. We did a full walking tour there. I will post a link below to the entire playlist from Turkey. Now, when it comes to accommodation here in Turkey, I would say Airbnb for families is going to be your best friend. If you're couples, I would say something like Hotels.com, Booking.com, Priceline. Me personally, I used a mix between Marriott Bonvoy, Hilton Honors, Hotels.com, and Airbnb throughout my stay here. I averaged around $100 per night per room while in Turkey. So I got reasonable accommodation for a good price. The cheapest I paid was around $70 for 2 beds. The most expensive that I paid was around $180 for a 1 bedroom apartment. When it comes to doing laundry on site, you can do what is called the poor man's laundry method, where you wash your clothes in the sink using your soap that you brought, and then you just hang them out to dry. Now, obviously, that works better in the summer than it does in the winter, but around the towns, they're going to have the laundry available. Some of these units, though, if you look in the details for the amenities, it will tell you if they have laundry on site or in the room. And as you can see here, plenty of pools and spas. I did notice that they do have cold water jacuzzis here, which was a first for me. I'm used to getting in a jacuzzi and having hot water with bubbles, but cold water and bubbles, I guess that works too. Also, another thing, the pools close at sunset at most all accommodation that I went to in Turkey. And for those of you who like to get your feet in the dirt, they do have a lot of camping, especially along the Turkish Riviera. Turkey is camping friendly. Now, one of the subjects that we do want to touch on is crowds. Turkey, in particular in Istanbul, can be very heavily crowded. We're talking almost 25 million to 30 million people. They don't know the exact number, but that's how many people supposedly live in Istanbul. Just like many other European cities right now, when you're in the inner city, you're going to have heavy crowding. And I personally am coming from the United States, where there's not a lot of crowds when you walk around downtown, with the exception of maybe Chicago and New York City. Just be aware, crowds exist. It's a good thing that you get used to with time, and it can actually be fun. First, you might not want to drink coffee really early in the morning, get all jittery, and then go hit the Grand Bazaar, if shoulder-to-shoulder crowds can make you antsy or anxious. So when is the best time to visit? Well, straight up, it's going to be April and May. September and October, those are the shoulder seasons. Less people and more mild weather. If you like snow, go to Istanbul in December and January, and you might just get very cold, snowy weather. If you like extremely hot weather, show up in July. And if you show up in July, you're almost guaranteed to get a lot of people and crowds along with the hot weather. So if that's your thing, June, July, and August, perfect for you. If mild weather and less crowds are your thing, then show up in April, May, or September, October. And just some quick facts about Turkey. There's 84 million people that live here. The ethnicity and the language is Turkish. And on that note, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Things to Know About Visiting Turkey, hit the like button, consider subscribing, look below for the link to more of our Turkey videos all across the country, and we will see you guys on the next one.